kid, I used to get in trouble all the damn time. Every fucking word out of my grandma's mouth was my name.
You say my name, I'm thinking my stage name. My real name.
Just your name.
Just my name?
Billionaires right here in this room.
If it was my real name, oh, man, I'd produce a 5-minute short film probably.
That's depressing.
It's all right. If it's my stage name, I would have a nice feature.
All right. So question number 2. What is the square root of pi?
The only pi I take any interest in isn't all that mathematical. It's more emotional and physical. I have no idea what the square root of pi is.
The answer is...
20 years ago, I would have known.
A full belly. Can a widow's husband marry the widow's sister is question number 3.
Can a widow's husband marry the widow's sister? Sure. Why not? It's legal. I don't know that I would do it or I would recommend it.
I want to say that again. Can a widow's husband marry the widow's sister?
Yeah, that means if your wife died, could you marry her sister, right?
No.
No?
A widow has lost her husband.
Oh.
A widow cannot marry the...
Damn it. You got me, you sons of bitches.
All right. Number 4.
Getting my balls busted in my own game. It's all right. I'll take it.
Who created toilet paper?
I don't know, but man, I wish I had stock in that.
The pandemic. I was going to change that one.
The pandemic took toilet paper away.
Right. The pandemic. All right. Question number 5. How many times does an elephant shit a day?
Probably not as many times as I have to. I'm going to go with maybe 4. We're just going to say 4.
Can you tell me, question number 6, can you tell me about the legend of your third nipple?
The legend of my... Well, you see, the legend is I was born with a third nipple, and many years ago, when I was working on another radio network, we did this show on Christmas night. Wolf McKinney and I co-hosted this holiday special called the Christmas Carnival of Chaos, and I was trying to raise about $3,000 for charity and came up short, but the idea was if I raised $3,000, I was going to get my third nipple pierced by a midget dominatrix. And unfortunately, that fell through.
That didn't happen.
It did not happen. But I do have a third nipple still.
Hey, I've got $3,000 in my bank account. All right. Number 7. How many times a day do you shit?
Dude, I have Crohn's disease. That's IBD, man. It's a motherfucker of a disease, and I try to raise money for it every year because there is no cure. So, several times. And thank God, you're talking about the TP or whatever.
Right.
I love a bidet. If you get a bidet.
Oh, hell yeah.
You get an ass
Why do
squirter.
people want to go and take up all the toilet paper? You got your fucking shower right
surprised.
there, man.
You'd be surprised how much money you'll save on toilet paper, especially during a pandemic year like right now.
Which ties into question 8, by the way.
Wonderful.
If you were the richest man in the world, what would be the cheapest thing you would buy the most of, and why?
Tacos, for obvious reasons. I'm a fat motherfucker.
That
I love
is
it.
not even fair.
The cheapest thing I would buy the most of, right? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, tacos, definitely.
All right, question number 9. If you were offered free tacos for the rest of your life.
Are you shitting me?
For no reason. For no reason at all. Would you accept?
Yes, and I'd be saving millions of dollars that I just made as a rich man.
All right, so I'm going to throw a random question in there. But this will be question 11. Name something a bird can do that a man cannot.
Something a bird can do that a man cannot. Well, fly safely?
Oh, a man can fly.
Yeah. Not on his own.
Well, birds can whistle.
Some men can, too.
Through his pecker?
Probably not. Maybe. I have been fooled before.
My grandfather told me that joke when I was like 13, and I died laughing. Thought it was the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. He also called my grandma a fart smeller one time instead of a smart feller.
Oh, I hope they listen in. Hello, Grandma, Grandpa.
Hi, Nan, Papa. How are you doing? Love you guys. All right, so question 11. This one's a little bit of a riddle. There are 30 cows in a field.
Oh, crap.
And 28 chickens. How many didn't?
How many didn't?
How many didn't?
How many didn't what?
I just told you.
I don't think I get the riddle. Fuck. There's 30 cows in a field.
There are 30 goddamn cows. There's 30 cows in a field.
Yeah.
Now, my friend told me this joke, and if he's listening to this, oh my God, I hope he's dying laughing his ass off. There are 30 cows in a field.
Yep.
28 chickens. How many didn't?
I have no idea. 2.
It's a play on words. Listen again. There are 30 cows
in a field.
And 28 chickens. How many didn't?
Well, 2 of them didn't chicken out.
The answer is 10.
I don't get it.
There are 30 cows in the field.
We caught that much.
20 of those cows ate chickens.
Oh, my God.
So 10 of them didn't.
Oh, Jesus. This guy.
Oh, man.
Dun-dun-dun. You're fired. You're so fired.
All right. Well, Willie, I definitely appreciate you being on the show, man. Thank you for letting me host the show.
Oh, yeah. We're all welcome.
I'm going to go back behind stage and rethink my entire existence. For you, Breaking Fate Entertainment, your family, anything, where is your future headed? Where do you see yourself going?
For Breaking Fate, I almost closed things down last fall, and I had anticipated on going down to an event or two and just doing films here or there, and trying to go back to work for the man to make a little bit more secure future in living. I found out very quickly after 3 months of constant job search that it's hard to go from being self-employed to any kind of workforce again, because they don't think you're going to stick around, is what I have come to understand. They think that as soon as you find the right, or something else that strikes your fancy, you'll be gone. But my intention at that time was to try and go back to work for the man and calm down some of my endeavors, because it is a lot of work and a lot of stress, though I love it. And after 3 months of job search turning up, only 2 responses whatsoever out of hundreds of applications, which is insane, I went back to doing what I have been doing. I downsized my company and sold off trademarks and festivals to other people, which I don't regret, because most of them are doing great things with them. But going forward, I think that I'm going to concentrate on maintaining the trademarks that I have now. I'm going to try to produce and direct the feature that I have started writing already sometime in the next year or two. And I hope to make the move back to Tennessee eventually, or at least somewhere out of Illinois whenever my daughters are getting closer to the end of high school or out of high school.
Right. It's
kind of the long term is to make my way back out of Illinois. I have been here most of my life. I was born in DeKalb, Illinois. That's where our studios are at, and my office, and where I live. But since the wildfires in Tennessee 4 years ago, 4 years ago to the week that we're recording this,
just a couple more days until the anniversary.
Yeah, and 2 days from the November 28th will be the 4-year mark of the wildfires that put us all out of living in Tennessee, really. Part of me was planning to move back here already to take care of my daughters full-time, because they were with their mother, and they needed me to be here. So I came here, and they live with me full-time. But the idea is to help them get through school locally here, because they do like the school here. And then, after being here on and off pretty much my whole life, the International Movie Database says that I'm one of the top 10 most famous people born in DeKalb, Illinois. But if I go out anywhere in this town, it's very rare that anybody will stop and say hello to me anymore or even know who I am. But what's funny is whenever I moved away from here, and that would have been, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever I moved to Tennessee the last time, I left here feeling abandoned by this community here. And I still feel abandoned by this community. But I left here and I went to Tennessee, and I went with $1,000, and my wife Micah and I left with $1,000 and our fat cat, and we made it work. She found work right away. She had 3 job offers within the first week. Took one of those offers and managed to climb the ladder there very quickly. We lived in an extended stay hotel. We paid a weekly hotel rate to live.
Right.
And within 2 months' time, we found a cabin to move into up in the higher elevations at Sky Harbor in the Smokies, which was beautiful.
And it is still standing. It was not affected at all by the wildfires.
That one was not. Yep. And then we moved from that place into another cabin in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which was a nice mountain view facing Mount LeConte, which you've been to.
Which is also not affected by the wildfires.
Yep. It also survived it, thank goodness. But unfortunately, we couldn't get back into there. Our landlords decided to make it a nightly rental thing for tourists.
We can change that.
I don't know. We'll see.
We can definitely change. Well, all it takes is a car and a high speed. But we can change that.
But the idea is to get back to somewhere in the mountains region, and I can't even say Tennessee for sure. I don't know what the future will bring as far as where I'm living, but I'm going to continue to do this.
They're going north
as much as I can.
Alaska.
If I can find a more stable way to survive off of it would be preferred, because there's great times and there's low times. And you've known me well enough to know that I see both of those. And a lot of people think, you own all this stuff, Willie, all these different trademarks and all these different companies.
Why aren't you richer than Bill Gates?
Because it's one man doing a lot of juggling with a lot of help here and there from other people.
Right.
And it's more of a passion endeavor.
Yeah, I'd really like for the audience to take a second and actually think about how much work goes into this. Because it's definitely not easy.
It is a lot. I produce film festivals, which means I have to watch thousands of independent films a year, which I love and is exhausting at the same time. If you sit through, 300 horror movies in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, that's straining. It's actually physically exhausting. Some of them...
I think I would get tired of horror films, and that's my genre.
I started doing this festival called Hardcore Horror Fest, and I did that festival because I was getting films submitted to Chicago Horror Film Festival, Indie Horror Film Festival, that are so damn extreme and brutality-style films or had such higher sexual content that it's like, I don't know if my audience would sit through all of this.
Right.
So I created Hardcore Horror Fest to feature films like that, because there is a niche for that, and there is people who love that extreme, brutal stuff.
Yeah, there's some real sick motherfuckers out there.
But sitting through the films for that festival, to consider them, watching all those films, that is, it is an exhausting
That's quite a strenuous task, man. I mean, that can affect you in so many ways, which it has affected you.
Oh, yeah. You gave me 3 titles at the beginning of this, and I think it was like award-winning actor, entrepreneur, and I don't remember what it was, but really,
filmmaker.
I literally have 1,000 titles.
Right. Like
between,
literally everything. I mean, magician, musician, writer, director, producer, singer, songwriter. I mean,
and then you got marketing, and you got president, and you got, bookkeeper. And I've had some help here and there for sure.
Human resource officer.
It's everything. It's everything all in one. And it's a lot of people who are self-employed through any kind of small business understand it.
Yeah, fuck Lon Chaney. Willy Adkins who? Man of 1,000 faces over here.
But I would love to be able to build the company large enough to be able to employ people to help. And I would like to find, honestly, I would like to find in time someone able to come in and work as a partner in this that I can put all my faith and trust into and be able to retire eventually. That's the one concern that I do have with what I do, is when I think long term, I have a wife who is investing into stocks and trying to plan for some kind of retirement, and the hardest part about leaving Illinois would be her having to leave an employer and go to another employer after
Right.
she's invested in so much stuff.